Hey, welcome back to the American Dream. The entrepreneurial journey always has its ups and downs. Imagine the 2008 market crash causing you to lose $100 million. That's the story of David Meltzer, who joins us on the American Dream. And there's a lot more to your story as well. Written books, keynote speaker with Forbes magazine right in there. So got a lot going on, man.
Yeah, a lot of fun, but it's part of being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, so you've had your fair share of ups and downs. I know you write about it in your book, so I'm not sharing anything that you haven't personally, publicly shared. But for anyone who doesn't know you, give us the story. Where did you start? Take us up to 2008.
Just real quickly, grew up poor, wanted to be rich so I could buy my mom a house and a car. Ended up making a choice out of law school to get into technology. Worked for West Publishing. In 9 months, made my first $1 million. Bought my mom that house and the car.
What year was this?
In 92.
Okay.
And then by 95, we got bought out for $3.4 billion. Set me in a different branding mode to brand myself as a technology guy.
Wow.
Went up to the Silicon Valley, raised $169 million for a company called EveryPath, wireless proxy server space, then got hired as Samsung CEO of their first convergence device, which we now call smartphone. So I was the CEO of the PCE phone, the world's first CE device.
Wow.
And made a ton of money. They kicked me out because the company got too big. I was out over my skis. Started investing in technology, real estate. My dad was a commercial broker. So I ended up with a golf course, a ski mountain, 33 properties here in San Diego alone. And I overextended myself, thought I could always borrow against the equity I had. The banks went under. And then all of a sudden said, as I was in lawsuits too, right, liquidating my ego, that's my terminology. All of a sudden they said, hey, you got millions of dollars, but you can't have it. I learned a valuable
So you have all
lesson.
this equity in real estate and you can't tap into it.
Can't tap into it.
A lot of people went through that. I mean, even on a smaller scale, I mean, individual homeowners and everything else is a tough time.
Yeah, so I lived here in Rancho Santa Fe. I just made a conscious decision not to fight it. I wanted to pay back everybody that I owed because I figured liquidating the properties through bankruptcy would pay any debts I had. So I actually came out of bankruptcy in a moral position that I felt comfortable with. But during that process, I met Lee Steinberg, the most notable sports agent, became CEO.
What year is this?
This was in 2008.
Okay, so market crashes, you're going through all this, this liquidation, this BK.
Yeah.
Meet Lee Steinberg.
Lee Steinberg. Within 48 hours, he hired me as his COO. Within 6 months, I became the CEO of the most notable sports agency. Most people know him from Jerry Maguire.
Sure. So explain this. How do you go from tech to a sports agency and be able to carry the skill set over?
Great question, because most people want to be Jerry Maguire.
Sure.
Right? And they still come up to me. I always focused, because I went from being a lawyer to technology, I always focused in on skills, knowledge, and desire. I played football and baseball in college. You know, I really a sports guy. I always dreamed of being a sports agent. But for me, I had developed skills. So when I talked to Lee Steinberg, I wasn't looking for a job. I was representing a friend for a reality show called Showtime.
Okay.
But I talked about my skill set, my administrative, my organization, my operations skill set, my ability to raise money, as well as my technology background, and it caught Lee's eye. And so out of all the thousands of resumes that he had to take Jeff Morad's job, the old owner of the Padres, who was COO of Lee's, I got the job.
Wow.
Because of my skills, knowledge, and desire. And they did. They translated completely over. And I still look for kids by their values, their skills, and their knowledge, not by whether they worked for CAA or David Dunn or anyone.
Skills, knowledge, and desire. What were the biggest lessons you've learned through the adversity of 2008?
Value. So I live my life. I wake up every morning now, instead of trying to take and compete, there's no resistance in my life. I actually shifted the paradigm and said, you know what? I have a great gift. I'm going to start giving it, meaning I pray to God for 10 people that I can help every day. It's very simple. I work just as hard. I love to work. I enjoy the pursuit of my potential. But my goal in life is to provide value, and I trust the universe that it will bring everything back to me that I asked for, and I've learned to ask big.
So you mentioned you're a former athlete, so you have that competitive spirit.
Let's not embarrass myself, right? I played in college.
Hey, I claim it too, and I didn't get through anything past high school.
Right.
But you have that competitive spirit in you, that entrepreneurial spirit. That kind of started you, got you to where you're going, but then over time, maybe humbled by 2008, you learned to focus more on values and giving, and you feel like that's reciprocated pretty well for you.
Yeah, serve my way up, serve my way out. I still do. I trust in the fact that if I provide value, that the universe, it creates a void for the universe to fill, and it's much easier to fill that void than me making promises. And so all I do is stay focused in on the value that I can provide. I do believe in a consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit enjoyment of the pursuit of my potential.
Wow.
And that's the pursuit of that value that I can help others with.
So fast forward us to now.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're in 2018.
Blessed. I started a business with Warren Moon, who was a client of mine and a partner at Lee's. We have a sports marketing company with a motto of make a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. We have really different sides of the business: media, sponsorship, and then philanthropy.
Okay.
So those are the three businesses that we're in. I've been able to build my own brand by speaking around the world, writing books. I have a great podcast, a top 5 podcast called Playbook, and then the #1 digital business show called Elevator Pitch with Entrepreneur Magazine.
Tell us about Elevator Pitch.
Elevator Pitch is my way of giving back. I felt that I get pitched so much, right? I'm involved in a lot of funds. I raise a lot of money. I felt that people didn't have that 60-second stimulating interest down. They're great geniuses, and they were missing opportunities because they couldn't articulate value. So I created a show with Entrepreneur where you get 60 seconds in an elevator.
So Entrepreneur Magazine, you created the show with.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah, and they're in an elevator for 60 seconds, 4 judges, and they have 60 seconds to convince us to open the doors. If they open the doors, it's a mentoring show. I call it Shark Tank with Soul. We actually mentor you. We have several options from PO financing to all of us together investing. We also have an entrepreneur fund that will invest. And then we also have Indiegogo involved, who did all of the crowdfunding in case we want you to prove us to the market and prove us wrong. We can come back and invest again.
So you have a big belief, you believe in capitalism.
Absolutely.
But capitalism to allow you to be more philanthropic.
Yeah, in fact, I wrote a book called Compassionate Capitalism that shifts the paradigm of value, right? It's called Journey to the Soul of Business. That why not challenge ourselves to not only make a lot of money, but in the process, like Elon Musk and others, create social impact and change. And by doing so, I don't, whether you believe in karma or not, I just believe in true value in math, that the more that I give, the more it's going to come back to me.
You're on a show called The American Dream. Can I ask you what you believe the American Dream is?
American Dream is to pursue your potential. I travel around the world, I speak around the world, and not everybody has the opportunity to enjoy the pursuit of their potential. You can come here with nothing. I was born with 6 kids and a single mom in a 2-bedroom apartment in Akron, Ohio. Wow. And by the time I was 9, I was living in San Diego, and by the time I was 25, I was a multimillionaire. I was afforded the luxury of pursuing my potential. It's the only thing standing between you and the American dream and your dream is you. Other countries, you can't say that in.
Yep, love it. Wow. Dave, great interview. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right, more of The American Dream coming up next. Welcome back to The American Dream. There is no doubt about it, the real estate industry is under disruption and chaos. You have companies like Purple Bricks and Redfins trying to commoditize the industry to circumvent the realtor. I'm a big believer that to gain market share, you've got to be a great marketer. And with that disruption, creates amazing opportunities. One of the best marketers I've ever met in real estate, Seth O'Byrne, joins us on the show right now. Seth, good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just won a big award as it pertains specifically to the marketing of real estate.
Yeah, this was cool. Yeah, we stoked to talk about this. The San Diego Business Journal, obviously, the go-to publication for people in business right now.
Yep.
They do an award every year called the Best in Real Estate, and we were really proud because BOSA, when they were building Pacific Gate, identified a few key brokers that in the resale market, they wanted to help push the project along. Well, we did a whole video marketing series around Pacific Gate, and we're really happy to say San Diego Business Journal gave us best real estate deals for our marketing.
But let's be
project.
clear. Tell everyone real quickly what Pacific Gate is.
Yes. So Pacific Gate is the most expensive high-rise ever built in San Diego.
Yeah.
So
it's
a big
insane.
Deal. Yeah.
Couple of the amenities, share.
There's a yacht share, a private yacht share. So there's one yacht that everybody, it's in the HOA has. You have a fleet of Porsches that you can drive, that you can take out on trade. There's something called a chef concierge, which has nothing to do with being a chef. It's a concierge that essentially does everything and anything you want. And so the penthouse sold for $15 million. It's what's called a super prime building, which is one of the rarest buildings for high rises at the highest level you could get to. And so we did hopefully a fairly inspired marketing project around it. But we were just excited because this year's been amazing for getting recognized for all the work we put in.
Tell us some stuff you've done recently.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing. 2017 and 18 have been incredible for this. So last year we went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and advertised one of the most expensive homes ever constructed in Idaho on the lake. Then we went up and worked with Wes Jones at Keller Williams on one of the most expensive houses on the market in the entire state of Washington. 4 houses on Lake Washington, unbelievable house. Then we went to Aspen, Colorado and advertised a house that actually owns 400 acres on the backside of Ajax. So you actually own part of Aspen Mountain.
Wow.
There's no way you can be king of the hill if you're not the king of Aspen, right?
Yeah.
That's where the billionaires pushed out the millionaires. So we got hired to go out there and advertise $30 million in real estate in 48 hours. And just came back from, I believe, my favorite trip we've ever done, which is we went to Steamboat, Colorado, and we worked with Steamboat Sotheby's and all the brokers there, and used the ability for us now to make our content national with the American Dream, but craft really highly produced content around this amazing place, Steamboat, Colorado. Most people have never been there, and I think it's one of the greatest places I've ever been.
So let me chime in here. So you got these other top realtors all across the country. Now, some of them aren't tied into the American Dream. I mean, there's an average of 10 to 15,000 realtors per city across the country. They're reaching out to you and they're saying, hey, Seth, seen your work. A lot of people follow you on social media, which, by the way, I encourage you. You want to see some amazing videos and marketing, follow Seth O'Byrne on Instagram. But a lot of these people have found you. It's kind of a connected network. And they're saying, look, this is a really high-end property. I got to get this thing moving. I got to impress this seller. They're hiring you to come out.
Yes.
How does that work?
Yeah, so we've got a deal that we're putting together in Hawaii right now, where we're working on the deal as a team. But we have a lot of deals. More often than not, we'll get brought into other cities, and it typically only works with trophy properties.
Right, we're talking high end.
High end, yeah. $5 million is probably enough to start thinking about doing this. Yeah.
So these agents are saying, look, we love what you do. We like your strategies. Come out here, help us get this thing sold.
Yeah, so, and why it's powerful, we call it dual purpose marketing, right? Or kind of, we run these 2 marketing channels in parallel. One is chronicling to our 24,000 followers on Instagram and 20 other thousand followers on Facebook in the real estate arena. Like, we chronicle in real time us flying out there, the experience of seeing this part of the world for the first time, is showcasing all these amazing properties. And then at the end of it, we come out with usually a series of like 5 to 10 videos. Partially, it's about us using our eyes in San Diego, real estate experts, but unfamiliar usually with the cities that we're going to, and seeing these homes for the first time and kind of seeing the effect it has on us and how inspired we are. And then a lot of videos just down and dirty, like marketing the property and creating a series of videos that we then help them figure out a sequencing plan with. So on Facebook, we can essentially create a click funnel for luxury clients. We've got one that we're doing right now on a $20 million property, and we have identified 4 billionaires in China and Japan through these marketing techniques that we've learned, and we know that they're watching the content, and we're just spoon feeding them the exact perfect content for that property. It's been incredibly successful, and I hope it's the beginning of lots of this.
No, it's fun to watch. So what Seth does better than anyone is he creates a story around the lifestyle of that property. And you would maybe call that content, right?
Sure.
A storyline, creating content. But then the distribution side of it is, you're mentioning targeting billionaires in other parts of the world, where not only are you creating this great story, but you're finding the people to put that story in front of. I don't know anyone doing this all across the country. And I've been traveling, meeting the best brokers everywhere, and sitting right next to who I consider to be the best. So if you are selling a piece of luxury real estate, great guy to learn from. If you are a realtor, great guy to maybe reach out to. I've seen it firsthand. It's been a remarkable journey to watch. Seth O'Byrne, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
More of The American Dream coming up next. Well, as you know, The American Dream is a national program where we focus on business, the entrepreneurial spirit, overcoming adversity, finance, the market, all things that are relevant to empowering your American dream. But a big topic of conversation on this show is housing. So what we do is we integrate local, top-producing, award-winning realtors to cover a wide range of topics on that subject, different micro markets, different niche subject matter. Housing is such a big topic, so we're going to bring you a lot of information right now from some of the best in your market. Let's check out these interviews.
Hi, I'm Lisa Phair. owner of Lisa Phair & Associates at Coldwell Banker West Shell. Today, I'm at the National Voice of America Museum of Broadcasting in Westchester, Ohio. Westchester and its sister community, Liberty Township, are located about halfway between Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio, and home to more than 4,000 businesses and over 100,000 residents. Since 1990, this area has witnessed more than 25% growth. So what's the story behind this major expansion, and why are families and businesses flocking to this area? Joining me today to talk about this is Joe Hinson, President and CEO of the Westchester Liberty Chamber Alliance. Joe, thanks for joining us.
Lisa, it's a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Allowing me the opportunity to be with you today.
So business is booming in Westchester and Liberty Township. What's the driving force behind the formation of this Metroplex?
Back in 1997, Union Center Boulevard was built. It opened up 3,000 acres for commercial development, and that's where the magic began. Because what happened afterwards, and next 13 years, were additional interchanges that opened up. The Regional Highway 129 into Hamilton, Liberty Way, and then south of Dayton, Austin Boulevard. In total, over 4,000 acres opened up for commercial development, and between Cincinnati and Dayton. This area was primed for opportunity. This had been talked about for years. There had not been a new interchange built on I-75 in 25 years. And so there had always been talk about Cincinnati and Dayton 55 miles apart coming together as one.
Yeah.
But not only important with what we've seen here, but recognizing less than 2-hour drive, you have Indianapolis, Lexington, Louisville, and Columbus. So it really positioned itself nicely for internal growth and development of bringing the two major markets together, but externally in our region, bringing major markets to this area also.
Oh, sure. Yeah, convenience and accessibility are very important factors in creating and keeping a very strong traffic flow. So to that point, can you tell us what infrastructure has been put into place?
Well, Ohio Department of Transportation recognized the additional traffic flow. In fact, when Union Center Boulevard was open in 1997, 26,000 cars were supposed to go over that a year, 30,000 the first year. So what ODOT did was said, we need an additional lane going north and south on I-75. So today we have 4 lanes from Cincinnati to Dayton. Okay. And so with that said, it was also important, though I-75 goes north and south, that we have east-west access. So those interchanges I mentioned before were strategic to communities that are very similar to Westchester and Liberty, and opening up opportunities where we're able to pull from both the east and west of 75 into I-75, into specifically Westchester and Liberty, which are the epicenter for the growth and development of this area between Cincinnati and Dayton.
Okay. And so besides location and accessibility, what are some other pivotal points that make Liberty Township and Westchester destination locations?
Yes, and again, going back to what I said before about the pull that we have, more than double a population outreach. We saw Frontgate Outlet, which is a national company, come here in the late 90s. IKEA came here. We also see Top Golf, Main Event, Duluth Trading has come here also. Where we're at right here, 600 acres, Voice of America, we have a park here that offers 22 athletic fields, and 2 of them synthetic turf fields for soccer. This year alone, 17 different tournaments are going to be here for soccer. Plus we have Olympic trials here. Across the interstate, we have Liberty Center, which focuses on mixed-use land development. And also we have proton therapy with Children's Hospital. And that brings in patients from all over the world. So you mentioned destination location. It's a key area of growth and development for the residents here in Westchester and Liberty, and for pulling from Cincinnati and Dayton. But also, I think a key component to more national scope is that 54% of the U.S. population is within a 600-mile radius of this area, and 56% of its buying power. You can get to 80% of the population with a 2-day drive from this area. It's unbelievable. So, where you want to be where the customer base is, you want to be here because, and businesses are seeing that day in and day out. We also see the opportunity with healthcare that continues to grow and thrive. It's the #1 industry today. In fact, it's the most competitive of anywhere in the U.S. right here in our own backyard.
Joe, I know that you believe that people are the key to every great story, and you've certainly been key to helping small businesses like mine achieve their American dream. So I'd like to thank you for being part of our program today.
Thank you, Lisa. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. The Westchester Liberty Chamber Alliance connects people to possibilities. If you own a business, no matter how big or small, you definitely want to check out the Chamber Alliance. And to learn more about real estate along the I-75 Growth Corridor, visit my website at www.lisaphair.com. And now, back to the studio.
Hello and welcome back to the American Dream Cincinnati. Today we have first-time guest Lynn Grooms, who is the lead agent for the Tri-State team with Coldwell Banker West Shell. Lynn, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, let's just give viewers a taste of who you are. What are some areas that you specialize in?
Actually, we work with buyers, sellers, and we do have several investors that we're working with now.
That's awesome. So where exactly is Coldwell Banker, the Tri-State team, located?
Okay, now I'm actually out of the Coldwell Banker West Shell Anderson office, so it's the east side, and we specialize in that area. However, the Tri-State team itself, we're in Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio.
Gotcha. So you being the lead agent, I'm sure that you have tons of tips and tricks for people who are trying to sell their homes. Could you give us some right now?
Absolutely, I can. For example, we're constantly hearing how it's a seller's market. And unfortunately, we do have a shortage of inventory and a lot of qualified buyers out there. So as an agent, I love to walk through the homes first with my seller and basically just give hints on how they can get the most money for their home and doing simple things. For example, something as simple as a welcome mat. You have the welcome mat in the front of the door, which welcomes your buyer. And as much as we love our home and love to show off our family and our beautiful, everything that we have on the walls with all of our family, it's very beneficial to depersonalize the house. So that way the buyer can walk in and the buyer can look at the home and make that home their home. So just simple tips as an agent, I love to go through with the seller and just find different ways and different improvements that we can make to sell the home.
Well, Lynn, it sounds like you have so much great insight on how to sell your home, and that's probably because you're always out there working your tail off. Now tell us, who is Lynn Grooms as a person and not just the realtor?
Well, I'm very, very blessed to be the lead agent for the Tri-State team. Coldwell Banker is amazing. Personally, I was born in Cincinnati. I love the area. I'm a UC alumni, so of course, when I'm seeing the changes that we're having in the city as far as revitalization, it's fun for me. I've raised my children in the area. I'm a grandmother, so there's a lot of love there, and my heart's in it. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Well, Lynn, thank you so much for joining us today. I know this was your first time. I think you did really awesome, and I think everyone out there thinks that you have to be the right person for them. So thanks again for joining us.
Well, thank you, and you have a great day.
You too. We'll be back with more American Dream Cincinnati. Hello and welcome to our mortgage update. Today we have Ryan Kiefer with Prime Lending. Ryan, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Well, tell us what's going on in the market.
Well, yeah, I wanted to talk about something a little bit different today. We've had a long-running series about home buying myths. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about, housing inventory, I guess, or lack thereof in some cases. We've been talking about this for a while. It's very much a seller's market in most cases, but it is a little bit of a tale of two cities in that regard because it's the starter or entry-level homes that are still flying off the shelves. We're seeing multiple offers, bidding wars, that type of thing. And we have some graphics here where, the home appreciation rate within those homes is a lot higher as a result. Almost 10% appreciation rate nationally over the last year for what we would consider, more of the entry-level homes. Compare that to higher-end homes. More inventory, those make up over 51% of the inventory right now versus starter homes are somewhere around 25% or so. So point being that for someone out there who might be a possible trade-up buyer, you own what could be considered a starter home currently, now is the perfect time to sell and to buy that trade-up home. Reason being, you can get top dollar for the home that you're in. There's a huge demand right now with the millennials out there as first-time home buyers. And then you can probably get a pretty good deal on your next purchase, that higher-end home, because there is more inventory and the appreciation rate hasn't been quite as robust. It's really just the perfect storm for that trade-up buyer.
Gotcha. So what does the inventory actually look like in the near future, if you have a guess at all?
Yeah, part of the challenge is that, we need more inventory, obviously. There aren't enough homes being built right now by the builders, and part of their challenge is that, the regulatory cost. I saw a stat the other day that, the average cost per lot for a builder because of, the development cost, obviously, the regulatory cost, that type of thing, it's about $85,000 per lot. So if you're a builder and you have $85,000 in sunk cost in a lot out there, what type of home are you going to build? Are you going to build a starter home for $150,000 or $200,000 here locally, or are you going to build a higher end home? Well, the answer is pretty obvious. They're building the higher end homes, which is just, exacerbating the problem here.
Right. Well, Ryan, thank you again for joining us today. We always look forward to having you in the studio.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to touch on title searches. Many home buyers trust the parties who are handling the financing, the closings, and all the other moving parts of the business just to look after their best interests. But did you know that it's actually your responsibility as a homeowner to take all the burden of the property liens and encumbrances at the end of the day?
Again, you as a home buyer probably have little or no knowledge of what actually needs to be done. When a title company or an attorney performs a title search, it is based on the public records, and you have to cross your fingers that everybody that was involved who touched the information, that they input it correctly or they didn't miss something. You've heard us mention about getting an owner's policy quite often. When the lender chooses to have the insurance protect them, it does not protect you. When you have humans involved, it's always likely that someone will come along the way and make a mistake. We're Ken and Tina Martin with Priority National Title, and that is your title tip of this week.
All right, that's all for the American Dream. Thank you so much for checking us out. Remember, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American Dream. Don't forget, we love you to breathe oxygen into this message. Follow us on social media, and don't forget, we'll catch you next time. See you next week.